All right, everyone. Welcome back to another session of Banks Wants You to Know, your latest source for financial discipline and literacy. I want to begin this video by giving a big congratulations to all the high school graduates across the country and the world. This is a huge step into the beginning of adulting, and there are several different avenues a recent grad can take to begin that adult phase of their life. It also can bring a lot of pressure and anxiety regarding which decision to make, whether it's going off to college, staying home to attend the community college, entering a trade school, or staying home and going straight into the workforce, or in some cases, taking a gap year to get more time to figure it out. I may not be a guidance counselor who can assist with, any of those things, but I can aim to help provide some tips to help navigate the young adults in a financial sense. I believe starting off on the right foot financially can provide a solid foundation for your future. I initially had some money tips that was solely for those going away to college, but I could not leave out those who are choosing other paths. So hopefully today's tips will provide help across the board. Now, let's face it, most of our teenagers are underprepared to handle finances, whether it's due to the gatekeeping of information, misinformation, or just a lack of knowledge. And I'm here to help change that. And reaching this age group was actually the main motivation for starting this channel. Now I'm finally producing a video that is directly for them. So go grab your grad and let's jump right into it. The first tip I have for you all to get started on your financial journey is to open a bank account if you don't already have one. Most banks and credit unions offer special accounts for kids, so it's possible that you already have one, and it's possible hey you might already be using it. But if you don't have one yet, I would suggest getting started at a bank in your area. For those going off to college, it would be best to consider opening an account at an institution where there's a location also in your college city. If that's not the case, then try a bank or a credit union that will offer a wide range of electronic capabilities, such as bank-to-bank transfers, which mainly is transfers between other people's accounts, and mobile deposits. I mention this because there will be times when you, as the student, may have to reach out to someone back home for a little cash when your account is running low. Who else has been there back in the day? Yes, there is Cash App and other similar platforms out there, but having a true account can make doing transactions more secure. But that's not the sole reason why I recommend getting a bank account. I believe a young adult opening their own account will mark the beginning of building their financial responsibility. They can start to visualize their money management patterns and see what could be changed and improved over time. Also, it would give them the opportunity to start saving the money they receive for whatever goals that they have in mind. Another angle to their financial responsibility is conducting business inside of a bank or a credit union. Although we can now do most banking activities online thanks to the great advances of technology, there are times when one may have to go inside a bank for a service, such as getting a cashier's check or getting a loan or, to discuss an issue with an account. And I may do a separate video for those young ones to inform them of all of the services and transactions that can be done inside of a bank, and also how business can and should be conducted while they are there. Getting an account is even more important for those who are jumping straight into the workforce. Almost every place of employment offers direct deposit, so it would be helpful to get an account started. It beats getting a paper check or going to a check cash in place and having them charge a fee to cash it. I mean, they have to run their business, so I guess I can understand them charging the fee, but still, yeah, like cashing a check, getting money, and then having to give some back for that service, almost counterproductive to me, but it is what it is. That reminds me of a time when I worked at Walmart many years ago. I did not have a bank account at the time, So I received paper checks and cashed them out at the money center there. It was alarming to me that I was still charged $3 each time I cashed a check, although I was an employee. So if you want to avoid that, definitely get that bank account and get started on your financial journey. Also, check out some of my earlier videos to see how you can manage your account and your debit card usage. This was another one that I initially had in mind for those who are going away to college. But this one can also work for those who are staying home to work or to staying home to attend school in their community or in their area. Now it can be hard, but I would like to suggest that you start saving your checks. And not all of them have to be saved, or not the whole amount of your checks have to be saved either, but a major portion of them should be saved. One reason I mention this is to be able to build yourself a cushion to fall back on if funds get low while you're away at school. This can be your first shot at building an emergency fund, something that's recommended for all adults to have. There are also plenty of things to purchase for college aside from things for your classes. That includes bedding materials like a mini fridge, a microwave if that's allowed in dorms, a laptop, and plenty of other things. If you want to, or if you have to buy some or all of these things yourself, then it could require putting some summer money to the side to be ready to buy those things by August. For example, let's say you're currently working a job, you've been there already, you getting hours after school and also on the weekends, then you'll be working that same job during the summer, before you leave. And let's throw a number out there. Let's say the checks are typically $700. All right, so got $700 on the board. If you decide to treat yourself, since I don't mind that happening, or you have a bill that you're paying, such as a phone bill, and you need to gas up your car if you're driving, then out of that 700, you could possibly, let's say, save around $450 per check. Now imagine that being saved every 2 weeks until mid-August, and that's already 2,250 ready for you in mid-August. The way I got that is if you start from June, beginning of June, you get paid every 2 weeks, $450. That's 5 checks you could possibly get. So that's mid-June, late June, mid-July, late July, and then also mid-August before you leave for school. You can save as much as $2,250. Pretty good start. And then you can continue to do this throughout your time in college as well. So that could be, working during your Christmas break and the summer breaks for the next few years. And this amount can double and triple. Even if you start working a job in the city of your college, then you can continue to save checks, build a large savings that will help you once you're done, especially if it becomes a struggle for you to find a job after graduation. And there may be people out there who are listening to this and feel the same way. This practice could work even better for those going into the workforce but staying at home. There aren't any extra bills to handle in the home. If we use this same example of saving $450 out of a $700 paycheck every 2 weeks, then that savings number can balloon to 11,700. And I say 11,700 because using this same method, if you're staying home in the workforce and you're going to work the full year, let's say from the time you graduated high school in June, going to the next June of 2026, you get paid 26 times. Multiply those two numbers, you get 11,700. Now that's a pretty decent amount that's saved away that you can prepare yourself for. Maybe you wanted to get a car, maybe you want to keep on saving. Possibilities are endless, like I always say. And then even if there's a lower amount saved, such as 350, that'll still get you close to 10K at 9,100. like I was saying, that's a start, still a start to a big ticket purchase to get you on your way. And that leads me into the next tip. And that next tip is setting yourself up for wealth. I feel like as I've been talking through the past tip, the past few minutes, I've already addressed this next one. Maybe I could just go ahead and end it here, but not so fast. The great thing about money management is that there's multiple ways to build the life you want to live. So saving is great, but how can you ensure that it will grow even more? One idea that I have is opening a certificate of deposit, which is also called a CD, and it can also be referred to as a shared term certificate or STC to grow those savings. There are some families who establish trust funds or inheritances for their children or grandchildren. This enables them to have access to a certain amount of funds after the age of either 18 or 21, whether in a lump sum or in installments. But most of us may not have that set up for us. And I believe the CD or an STC option can be something we can do ourselves to set our own selves up nicely for the future. This account is started by making a deposit, generally of like $500 or more, or as high as $100,000 in some cases, and selecting a time period between 1 and 5 years and allowing it to grow in interest at a set percentage or rate. Once the time period expires, or also referred to as reaching maturity, you can either cash out with more than what you have deposited, or you can roll it over to another CD or STC to continue earning more interest. And last year, my wife and I, we had three nieces and nephews all graduate from high school, and a light bulb had popped up over my head to recommend their parents to start this type of account for them to prepare them for their future. Now, unfortunately, it didn't happen for them, at least not yet. But I do want to have that idea for at least for you all to try. Now, if your parent isn't able to start one when you graduate high school, it's not the end of the world. Those savings that you can accumulate from saving checks or what have you can go to a CD or an STC to grow your savings at a higher rate than it would in a regular savings account. Now, I will provide a link to a CD calculator in the description box. I believe that we can still build wealth on our own, and young adults can have an advantage by starting early because the earlier you start, the more you can accumulate for later in life or even for retirement. I mean, at this young age, who's thinking about retirement, but it'll come faster than you really expect. So just be ready. I did want to show something quickly about how interest calculates with a CD or an STC. So, for example, if we want to do a $10,000 one for 5 years, um, that first one, well, let me do the rate at, let's say, there's one that I know of being offered at 5.5%. To show you how it's being calculated or the amount that you can get at the end of the 5 years. Let's do, all right, so got it broken down by years. We're going to multiply this principal amount by the decimal form of this percentage, which is 0.055. And then I would add these two and get, and basically I would keep this going. Like I would bring this over, multiply it by the same percentage, and then I would continue to do the math and the um, let's call this final amount, and the final amount would carry over to the beginning of the next year. So I'm going to go ahead and do the math, and I'll be right back. All right, so I'm back, and look at this final amount that you would get after 5 years. That's an extra on at a rate of 5.5%. You get an extra $3,000. To be exact, an extra $3,069.59 off of that, off of that 10,000 that you've set in that account in that CD or that STC. Allow it to grow over 5 years and see how the interest goes up each time. You've gotten um, almost almost $700, and it just keeps growing. And then you can roll this amount into another 5 year, until you're ready to, cash out. Maybe later on in your 20s or your early 30s. Now you have this lump sum, and you can use it on maybe a down payment on a home, or a nice new car, or just really anything, or starting a business, like using it as an investment to start a business. So you can start early, start now. If like if your parent, like, this could be an idea for parents as well. If you want to gift like gift your kid, your young adult, with something that will last them a good little while, turning that money into something greater, with an idea like this, and that will get them a little bit farther in this tough economic time. So please, take this idea into account, and I'm hoping the best for you all. And I'd like to say again, congratulations to all the high school graduates everywhere. You've worked hard, you've endured a couple of challenges, and hopefully you're ready to step into that next phase of your lives. I mean, whether you are or you aren't, I believe in you. But I understand if you feel you don't know everything that there is to know about life at this very moment. Hey, you're not really supposed to. Life is designed for us to learn things as we go through it, whether we're gathering the information before, during, or after a situation occurs. So I hope I was able to pitch in a little something for you all to that you all can hold on to as you can continue to navigate your lives in the world of finances. And I hope to kind of be here to assist, any with any information that I can provide, with more videos and more opportunities down the road. So hey, this is what I'm here for. This is what I do. Now it's time for the verse of the session, which comes from 1 Timothy chapter 4, verse 12, and it reads, "Don't let anyone look down on you because you are young, but set an example for the believers in speech, in conduct, in love, in faith, and in purity." And I'm glad I came across this, because it was actually the verse of the day earlier this week on the YouVersion Bible app. And how many of those use that every day to get them, day by day? So it came to me right on time. I was led to this verse today because as I present this material to the young adults who will listen and watch this video, hopefully, they are taking a huge step in gathering knowledge and wisdom, setting themselves up to be better prepared for whatever life throws at them. Maybe even a little bit more than their counterparts or their peers, or maybe even people older than them. So just taking that first step to gathering things is really a big plus for you all. In this chapter specifically, Paul is stressing to the people addressed in the letter to not abandon what they've learned before, but to continue to train and practice godliness so that they can grow in the faith. So, whether it's learning personal finance, learning values and morals, and anything else beneficial to living, I would give this advice for you to seek God and His wisdom first in all that you do. Do not be ashamed of continuous learning or deciding to live for God. He has a plan and a calling for all of us, whether we're young or old. So keep preparing to make your impact for the kingdom of God. And that, my friends, concludes this session of Banks Wants You to Know. for this week, where financial discipline equals financial success. And I'd like to thank you all for tuning in and hanging out with me to learn more about our finances. If you found this video interesting, insightful, all of the positive things, please tap that like button, subscribe to the channel for more tips, and share this video with someone you believe would benefit from this information. Maybe you know of a a high school grad who may need this information, who's uninformed about finances, and maybe this will greatly help them. Hey, send it to them, or just let them know to come check me out. Also, feel free to jump into the comments. Let me know what's a financial move that you've done as a high school grad to prepare for the future, or even for those parents of graduates. What's on your mind regarding setting up your child for financial success? So yeah, let me know. We can get a conversation started, and I'd like to see what's all on your mind. Thank you all again. Class is dismissed.